What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Friday, February 9th. We had a wild press conference last night. Little old school throwback, a little 80s action. No true wrestling, but wrestling occurs just in front of the media and fans. I loved it personally. I can't wait to talk about it. We're also going to break down some SmackDown, a few AEW previews. We got a bunch of good stuff to talk about today. And if we're going to do that, I've always got to have the best crew in the biz riding with me. First, I got to send this all the way across the pond out to the Take It to the Table host, my good buddy Chaos. How are you? 2 shows in a week, bro. He's back.
So, what do you guys want to talk about? No. Yeah, tonight is going to be it was too easy. It was an easy layup. But yeah, no, I'm glad to be here yet twice in a row. Try to make up for lost time since I was away last week. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, everything is pretty much going to be an afterthought. I can't wait to dive into the press conference, and yeah, just want to pick y'all brains regarding this show, the press conference last night. What a time to be alive. But yeah, let's get straight to it, shall we?
I'm with you. It feels like every few weeks now, all of a sudden we just have something new and explosive to talk about on a show. And this press conference over-delivered, at least in my eyes. I cannot wait to talk about it. And if we are going to talk about it, we've also got to have, all the way out in Philadelphia, our head of opinions, Anthony Ricciardi. No question. How are you doing on this Friday afternoon, my friend?
I'm doing great, especially after that press conference. I mean, I have a
fully recovered.
I have a very vested interest considering where Mania is. And it, without a doubt, that may have been, and I know we're getting into it, but probably the most explosive wrestling thing that I can really recall of a moment that was just unbelievable. We'll get into that. I don't want to get further into it, but honestly, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to talking about today.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. We're all stoked to get into that one, but also we got the late addition to the show, the man himself, all the way out in the DMV. It's not Tuesday, it's Friday, but get the twos up for Shad. How are you doing Friday afternoon, my friend?
Man, you know it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got to do. I'm chilling, big dog, man. I'm definitely would not miss an open seat to talk about the Mr. Head of the Table, and that's Mr. Dwayne Johnson. So let's get into it, bro. I don't even want to. We gotta talk about it. Let's just talk about it, guys.
Absolutely. We got a comment already over on Twitch from JHats0319, which is, how's it going, fellas? What a press conference. Dude. What a press conference. This was excellent. This was Pro Wrestling 101. I said last year when discussing kind of MJF's situation with AEW, I said someday they're actually going to work all of us. And whether this was intentional or not, I don't care, because that's what was accomplished last night. We all got worked. We all got worked up and thought The Rock's taking his spot and it's unfair. People are chanting against The Rock. And guess who we got? No entrance music, Cody, what I wanted all along. So passionate, he didn't even set up the pyro. He was just ready to go with the mic in hand. Let's go. Finish the story finally. Anthony, I know you are so passionate about this story. We've got, apparently, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as our main event at WrestleMania. The Rock, pretty clearly, based on last night, is going to play a role in this equation. And as you know, I'm not good at math. Can you break this one down for me?
Yeah, this is 100% going to a triple threat. I firmly believe that. That's where this is going. All the years I've been watching wrestling, maybe about 26 years consistently, I've never felt worked. And what happened definitely got me. And as annoyed as I was, That's how happy I am that they did, because it's very hard to get stuff by me at this point, because I feel like I've seen it or have a pretty good idea where it is. They nailed it. Whether this was a plan from all the way back in 39, it would explain why we never saw The Rock in his backyard, or they pivoted. Regardless, that was a masterpiece last night. Everything from Rock bringing out the family tree with all the names on it, declaring that there's only one royal family. Now, that would have been the go-to for Cody's music to hit. But like you said, Clark, I love that he went, I'm not waiting for that. I'm going out there calling the BS. I love that. The crowd was behind it. We got heel Rock, which honestly is the best version of The Rock, bar none. That's his sweet spot. And if this is The Rock's last run, him going out at his best as this heel, corporate, Hollywood heel Rock, this is the best stuff. Roman can claim to be the tribal chief and the head of the table, but we saw last night the real high chief, the real head of the table, took charge. That moment and them cursing at one another back and forth, that realism, and even the end with Hunter in the back and Rock cursing Hunter out to fix it. Like, this is must see. And when Paul Heyman said months ago that, we're only in the third inning, we all went, yeah, come on, the bloodline's drying out. Apparently we were all wrong, and they know what they're doing at this point. The one last thing I want to say would remind me of the moment Cody took a shot at the Samoan family. That's when the switch flipped with The Rock. And it reminded me very much going, hey, he's my cousin. I could say whatever I want, but we're still blood. You can't do that. It reminded me, Philly-centric, when the Flyers introduced Gritty as a mascot. Everyone in the city buried this idea. The moment people outside the city tried to pile on, that's when the city went 180 and went, we're fully behind him. He's one of ours. You can't say that. That's what it reminded me of during that moment. But that was, without a doubt, the most exciting thing that could happen leading into a Mania. I absolutely think they nailed that 100%.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you really broke that down great. I think one of the most interesting parts of this whole equation here is it was basically a throwback segment, right? This is something you would see. Dusty Rhodes' Hard Times
Dusty would have loved this.
Didn't happen on a live wrestling show, right? It happened in a media gathering of sorts, right? Ric Flair, same thing. That happened on a talk show. It's with Can't Hold These Alligators Down. It's one of those total throwback in every bit of the spider web connects in a way that there are so many open doors. To me, something that's fascinating, and one thing you didn't mention, Seth Rollins' role in this. Having Seth Rollins out there carrying the title, involved throughout in his own way, I think he had the most difficult task of any performer involved in this press conference in particular. And I think he handled it perfectly, because I'm now begging the WWE to book Rollins and Cody against The Rock and Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. Please make that happen.
There's so many ties.
Please make that happen for me.
There's so many ties with all these people. Roman and Seth with the Shield, Cody and Seth's history with their trilogy. This works on so many fronts.
I also believe in the fact that we have knowledge that Seth is working on a bad knee. That match, which is a dream match, and have Priest cash in after it. That is my personal prediction. They give Damian Priest cash in on Seth Rollins after the tag team match. And Rollins can go have surgery and get healthy, because we need healthy Seth Rollins. He can only work on a bum leg so long. And I think it's unfair to him to put the pressure on him to carry it, character alone, all the way into a Mania match. You have a dream match like where you have those four in the same ring at the same time in a venue like you have in Australia. To me, it makes the most sense. Chaos, though, I got to get your thoughts on last night's press conference and all of that I just said too. How do you feel about it? Possible? No? Yes? Maybe?
Oh my God, there's so much to unpack. I think we definitely need to bring this to the table. The table.
Yes.
Because I got so much to say on here, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet.
No, you're good.
Conference,
take your time.
Trust me, you don't want that. So yeah, the press conference, phenomenal, loved it. This is what press conference should be all about. And the portrayal and everything, the whole build up with it. The thing about Rock, he knows how to read a crowd, and he, back when he was when he turned heel back in I think when he turned to Hollywood Rock, he gave the fans a chance to ask him, like, look, do you want me to be a back? I remember I think it was after SummerSlam. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he asked the crowd, do you like if I go bad, there's no turning back. They booed him out of the building, and then we got Hollywood Rock. But this one, it just felt so natural that he went with it. He didn't try and force it and try to be the good guys that, forcing it, saying this is the greatest match of all time. He did it, but in a heelish way, and it was perfect. I agree with Anthony. Heel Rock is the best Rock. There's just as much memorable moments as there is when he does his promos as a good guy. I'm glad that they pivoted, and I'm glad that I got worked. And this stuff like this makes me just actually want to enjoy the ride and not just be guessing or predicting stuff. I love the fact that I love how this all played out, and I'm loving it as a fan. And obviously we're here fantasy booking and whatnot, but yeah, the fact that they course corrected and they done it in such a sublime way. And same as how we got fooled that CM Punk wasn't going to come back as Survivor Series, and he did. I just know that this thing is in good hands. Now, regarding the tag team match, I agree with Anthony with that in the Elimination Chamber. I agree with the tag match. I don't agree with it being at Elimination Chamber. I think that should definitely be night one. The only tricky thing about it is that Cody and Seth needs his own singles match, and it's just a shame that Dustin Rhodes ain't. This could be like a family thing. The Rhodes family versus the Samoan family, and then they could just do one big clash. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Seth maybe might work, but I still think that he needs his own World Heavyweight Championship match, considering that we were so close to getting him against Punk. Right. And yeah, unfortunately, but the thing is that Seth and Drew is not a good enough main event either. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel like that'll be co-main, and maybe you give the main to Becky and Rhea. But even that's debatable. But anyway, that's another conversation. All in all,
so many factors. You're right.
There's so many factors. I don't think it's going to happen at Chamber. I don't like. I think that's already kind of booked up. But yeah, like regarding the tag match, I don't feel like this should be a triple threat either. I think this definitely should be Cody and Reigns. And if Reigns actually loses everything, that's when we will get Rock and Reigns. Like the Rock obviously feels that Reigns is inferior, and he just wants to just take him out. He goes full heel. We get face Reigns, Rock and Reigns later down the year, or maybe in Mania, next year Mania. But yeah, like I said, there's so much to unpack. I'll go over to Shad, and he gets.
I totally hear you. And before I do toss it to Shad, we're going over on this segment, so don't even worry about it, guys. I mean, this I knew that before. Come
on, man, y'all viewers Shad. Came to see this topic anyway.
This is going to Shad eventually, but I gotta ask you on this cast, because this is one of my only concerns. There's been a lot of different scenarios where we've had, an idea about somebody working both night one and night two. Mm-hmm. My fear is if it's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, and they're both in the main event, or even if you add The Rock and it's all three the next night, what do you do with an injury? What if someone does get hurt there? It is such a risk.
That's why I
70 or 80,000 to put someone out there twice. I was even sketched out when AEW did it with, I understand there's examples, right? With MJF in the same night. But to me, Mania, if Cody tears his ACL and cannot work, period, night two, what in the world do you do?
It's worse with Roman if he got injured.
Right.
After 1,300 days or whatever. That's the problem.
but they're mostly the thing is I don't really have that much fear of that because they're both quite safe workers.
Right.
Like Cody and Roman, they like sure they might have something niggling, but their style is not like MJF. It's not like Darby Allin or but then again he's a pretty bad example. But like they're not CM Punk basically. So I feel like they will definitely play it safe, especially also protecting Rock as well, because obviously even though he's jacked, I'm pretty sure his cardio is off. But like they will figure out a way to make it show that they make it tonight too. I don't think they're gonna go all out. They will save that and obviously maybe carry the injury type of storyline in there and into the second night, and then who will grind more, who will actually stick it out the furthest or the longest to actually get that final pin. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I think they'll be they're safe workers to not get injured or do crazy shit. Excuse my language.
No worries. It's all good, and I agree with that too. You have to have faith in the performers, I think, without question. Also, by the way, Mark Henry did just join the chat over on Instagram, and shout out Big Mark. Thank you so much for joining. That's awesome. An absolute legend. Yes. I much appreciated. TJ Hothead actually pointed it out. Sorry if we're bugging you, man, but big Busted Open fan, big Mark Henry fan, like we all are. Thank you so much for tuning in, man.
I would sing your theme song, but I don't want to get censored, so yeah.
Absolutely, I hear you.
Which is the chocolate one you're talking about?
We're still big 3-6 Mafia fans here.
Not the chocolate one.
No, not that one.
That's crazy.
Oh man.
Shad ain't got the vocals for that, man. You got to sing that melodies in there.
I ain't on my Barry White, yeah.
We've also got a comment over on Twitch from JHats0319, which is this is where the UFC and WWE finally brought its brands together. It gave me UFC vibes. It felt organic and personal. I loved it. I did too, honestly. Like even the Cody just taking the mic and cursing.
Yes.
Right? I understand it was bleeped and whatnot, but like it felt so passionate and so real. It's outstanding. And
the PG era is over. Yes.
Yeah. Man.
I loved it just for entertainment's sake. I thought it was great, and it was bleeped still. So, and to be honest, to me that's fair. It's not over the line. It was the appropriate amount of enthusiasm. Shad, I know I got to get to you. Your take on the press conference. We all watched it last night.
Oh.
Just an unbelievable segment, right? Though a complete throwback segment too, which is something I really loved about it.
Right. Nah, I mean, there's several things that I loved about the press conference last night. One, I love the iteration that we are getting with this character of The Rock. We've mentioned, Hollywood Rock, the Hill Rock, but this is kind of tuned into who he is as a person now, right? He's older, he's a renowned businessman, he calls the shots. He's the OG in this company, and he's also the OG in the family. And he is the high chief in the sense of that. And I love that he's, coming back into WWE in theory to try to make this main stage match happen, to get eyes and viewers to watch WrestleMania coming up and to settle the score with his blood. And just that whole, whether it be a pivot, whether it's a work, everything tied what happened last Friday with Cody, how everyone's been reacting online to where we were yesterday, and Cody coming out and interrupting and going at their family, and how The Rock reacted. Like all of it just streamlined so well together, bro. And it had my attention. I watched that 30-minute segment of the entire press conference like 3 or 4 times since last night from all this morning. And I think The Rock, and he just really he swerved us on that, because you didn't expect it to be a standpoint where he would align with his blood and he would align with his family. But I love that it's the case. I love that he was on McAfee's show calling out the Cody crybabies and making it seem a lot different. Like this is a very good turn on the storyline. In regards to Cody, I like it as well. He's talking with passion. He's calling the BS, and he's calling his shot. And your point, man, Seth Rollins, that's another guy, man. Him and Roman Reigns is exchange in the beginning. Like a lot of it felt so real. Like we talk about the whole TKO merger and them going more sports based with stuff like that, especially having the press conference. This kind of did feel like a UFC press conference, right? There's no difference when you see two UFC fighters chatting at each other, talking smack before a main stage fight. It has that realism to it in that standpoint, and it's so reminiscent of what we saw when we were younger, but it's a little different too. Like it comes to what we see in more sports based combat sports, and seeing it sprinkled within the WWE makes it feel a lot different. It was damn near perfect, bro. Like I can't really critique anything that I disliked on it. It has me super engaged, super excited to see what happens. And the possibilities are endless, man. I mean, I've heard that we could possibly do the tag team match. You know, what's gonna happen? Maybe what there's still an outlier between Roman and The Rock, but now The Rock got his back, but The Rock also wants to have a match with him. The Rock and Cody got issues. If I'm Seth, I'd have issues with The Rock, and I would definitely have issues with Roman. Like, there's so many possibilities that they can do this, and that's what makes captivating television. And as a fan, that's what has you most interested when you don't know what to expect. It's cool to see stuff streamlined and being hyped for it, but when you don't know what to expect and you just enjoy it and smell the roses of the beautiful garden that has been planted, it's super exciting. So, hey man, kudos to WWE. Um, I'm thoroughly impressed, man. That was probably one of the best like like things tied in the wrestling outside of like matches that I've seen in a little while.
I couldn't agree more. To me, the brilliance of it is the throwback because it's a throwback type storyline. You look at the family tree, the history on both sides of the equation, everything involved in this. This felt like something we would have seen in the 80s, promotionally speaking. And what I loved about it is it delved directly into the product, as opposed to being more of like a corporate type plugging sponsors, WrestleMania Kickoff, right? Like often your expectations on that is going to be who are the sponsors, who's being plugged. Let's talk about the two big main matches. No, this was storyline building. And that was, to me, just such a brilliant tactic. And people may have said stuff like, oh, well, Roman and Rock aren't showing up on SmackDown, or Roman and Rock aren't showing up on Raw, or whatever have you. Well, they both showed up for this press conference and they both over delivered on their side of the coin.
You know what I will say? Compared to last year's build to the main event between Cody and Roman, like I like that the emphasis is the two royal families, right? In pro wrestling. I feel like it wasn't emphasized enough last year. It was kind of high speed booking into it. Now there was a big emphasis on that. And you add The Rock, like just seeing the switch flip for him as soon as he said that they'd be ashamed of you, of who you became. Like that is so.
The camera placement was beautiful. The way he just moves into the shot. That was just like, yo,
amazing, bro. Like you got me up, man. Like, no, you ain't talking about.
No. Yeah, and we got a comment over here from JHats0319, which is the WWE so hot right now, most talked about in sports right now. And the Super Bowl is only 2 days away. That's a great point.
Bro,
he also added 57 days till WrestleMania 40.
That don't watch wrestling. They know I watch wrestling, and they're fans of like the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, and they're like, "Yo, The Rock is back. Like, what's going on?" Like, I got so many texts from people, man. Like, I woke up this morning with like 3 or 4 people like texting me, and then all throughout last night, and obviously talking with all of us in the chat, like. Yeah, man.
It's unbelievable. Anthony Manzano added that he honestly thinks The Rock is going to turn on Roman at WrestleMania, not out of the goodness of his heart to help Cody, but to beat Roman, because he feels that Roman is not the head of the table and his ego is not going to allow a young guy who feels he's not ready to be in the position he's supposed to be in. Honestly, I don't hate that theory. It's totally possible. And then speaking of comments, before we make our predictions on what's actually going to happen, even though I kind of already made mine, my dad added, just admit that you guys and everyone else got worked by excellent storytelling. Yes, we did, Dad. Yep. Yes, we did, Dad. Love you, Dad. And
Mr.
we
Taylor, we
totally
definitely
did.
did. Yeah.
I will admit it first, and I'll be the first to admit that. Okay, but honestly, this is supposed to be our last segment of the day, but let's not wait on it. Let's get it out of the way now. Let's talk about what is going to happen storyline wise following the press conference. So I already kind of gave my thoughts on that tag match at Chamber. Sean, I'm going to toss it right back to you and ask you your thoughts on what exactly goes down between now and Mania and then even following.
So I feel like the bread and butter for the utilization of The Rock would be for him to have a match at Mania. And I know I've seen the ideas of Roman fighting 2 times in a back-to-back nights, one with uh the matchup with The Rock, the other one with Cody. But I'm gonna go on a standpoint with this, man. I'm gonna say that we do have a tag team match at the Elimination Chamber. I think it'll be a quick match. Well, not quick, but it won't be like a super long match. I think it is gonna be The Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody. I think in that match, the Bloodline gets the victory. They get the hot hand going into Mania. You know, everything is great with them. Seth will probably take the pin in that match. We'll go to WrestleMania. I think we'll see The Rock in Roman's corner in this match. I think Roman versus Cody is the move for the main event on night 2. We go through everything tied to it. I think at the end, we think we have the shenanigans where the rest of the bloodline try to interfere to make Cody lose. I think The Rock steps in, stops a Jimmy Uso, stops a Solo Sikoa, and lets it be a fair fight. At that very match, Cody wins. He gets his moment. We then get The Rock and Roman, and you see The Rock just looking at him in disgust, saying, "You are letting the family down. This isn't the way that we go with it." And then we set up Rock and Roman for next year.
Oh, I really like the prediction. So we have Cody Rhodes walking out, WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Champion of the world, and The Rock and Roman set up for next year at Mania or maybe even SummerSlam if we're trying to rush things along. Who knows?
Maybe, but it gets set up for a different card. That's my prediction. I'm gonna go with that for now.
I like that. Okay. Official, unofficial predictions because we like to change our minds every now and again over here at Wrestling Republic. Who knows? But Chaos, your official, unofficial prediction for what happens between now and WrestleMania involving Cody, The Rock, the Bloodline storyline, and finishing the story.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave it away a little bit earlier on, but it kind of goes along the lines with what Shad is saying. But yeah, as much as we would like to see Rock at the Elimination Chamber, I don't think he's gonna spend time on that pay-per-view. Especially when he is a WrestleMania guy. That's what I'm saying with his name value. The Elimination Chamber is selling well without his name on it. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. But yeah, I do feel like it's just gonna be just a domino effect. So like I do feel like the ultimately at WrestleMania, it will be a tag match on night one. Who Cody teams with, God knows. I don't think it will be Seth because obviously, like I said, I think he's better off having a separate, like a singles match. Regarding the World Heavyweight Champ, I don't think they're going to give him double duty that night. It will be a bit harsh. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see Rock or pretty much not until probably getting closer to Mania, probably, or even Roman. But yeah, I think it'll be a tag team match with them. They lose, and yeah, Rock is obviously pissed at Roman, like you're letting the family down. Roman takes the pin, and then yeah, I agree with night 2, almost like a carbon copy of almost what happened with last year. Solo get interferes, he Samoan spikes Cody. Super spear, but this time Cody kicks out, and then Rock obviously comes down. You think he's gonna try and help Roman, but he actually turns on him, and yeah, just completely takes out Roman. Cody wins. Rock thinks he's not worthy. He's obviously the head honcho. He's not just he's the head of the table. He's the chief of the board. All this kind of stuff. Reigns is gone for a while. Obviously, they set up that he's gonna be rocking Reigns for next year. Because so far they've yet to even announce where Mania is gonna be next year. It could very well be in Miami.
It could very well be in Miami.
Very well be in Miami. So which I'll be down for. I'll be
I'm in. We'll be there.
Do that, and then going to get face Reigns against heel corporate Rock. I think that will sell gangbusters. So pretty much along the lines of Shad, just without the tag, but move the tag match into night 1 of WrestleMania. I don't know who's Cody's tag team partner will be. I honestly don't know.
Thoroughly enjoy it though. I do like it a lot. We have 2 now. Cody leaves WrestleMania, WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Champion, and Roman Reigns and Rock rivalry set up for the future. Anthony, are you on the same page? Because my prediction actually isn't exactly the same, even though I've already mentioned that tag match I said earlier.
Yeah, everyone pretty much knows at this point that I want to see Cody selfishly walk out as champion. What I think is going to happen is they could do the tag match at Chamber, like you mentioned, Clark, because there is precedent there. When The Rock faced Cena, prior to him facing Cena, he tagged with them to take on Awesome Truth at Survivor Series prior to Mania. So they could do it. I don't think they're going to risk an injury with any of these people before that match. I think it's going to be a 3-way with Rock, Cody, Roman. As far as Seth goes, I could see him doing his own triple threat with Sammy and Drew. I think that's a possibility. But as far as the main one, I think it's going to be an unbelievable match. I think Bloodline members will try to get involved, but I also think this is the culmination. I think we're going to see the sins of the Bloodline's past come back and help fight off the Bloodline. You'll see Jay. You'll see KO. You'll see Sammy. You'll see pieces that have been burned by the Bloodline get involved. What I would love to see, selfishly, is if they continue to build this animosity between Hunter and Rock. We know that these 2 rivals can't face each other anymore because of Hunter's health. What I would selfishly love to see is after the Bloodline stuff gets done and the match is still going on, I would love to hear the sound of broken glass and have Austin come down to confront Rock. That is the location that both of them main evented against each other for the title for the very first time 25 years ago. Have him fight Rock off. What's left in the ring is Roman and Cody. And then have Cody pull out the win. It's fitting. All these people are tied to Dusty. There's so much respect for him. That would be fitting. The 40th WrestleMania ends with him finishing Dusty's story that started in 1977. And then you could still, if Rock still wants to fight, still wants to wrestle, he could fight Roman, whether it's SummerSlam, whether it's next WrestleMania. You lost the title. You disgraced the family. I didn't. I wasn't the one who lost. And you can kind of build with that. As you can keep him as heel Rock if you want. There's a number of avenues you can go, but ultimately, I want to see Cody walk out with that title.
So we've officially got 3 Cody goes over, and they're mostly singles matches with The Rock, correct? I'm sorry, with Roman. Not involving The Rock.
I had the 3-way.
You have the 3-way. So we have 1 3-way, 2 singles matches. I gotta admit, I believe in my chamber theory. And I hate to be this guy, the bearer of bad news. I feel like Wade Barrett. Guys, you picked the wrong turn. Solo turns on Rock. And that's how Cody gets robbed this time. The story's not over yet. I love you dearly, Anthony, and I want Cody to win this belt for you and for everybody and for Dusty, for all of them. But we're catching Hogan. And Solo Sikoa spikes The Rock in the triple threat. And The Rock is pinned by Roman Reigns. Cody goes back to the drawing board. Cody gets him one-on-one finally down the road. But we're catching Hogan. We're going to unfortunately end with the greatest booing crowd in the entire world, Philadelphia, booing Roman Reigns out of the building to end night 2 of WrestleMania 40, which, while disappointing in some ways, might be electric, because I don't know if you can break the sound barrier with boos, but I believe Philly can. I believe Philly can. I believe Philly can break the sound barrier, and I think if there's ever been a Mania or a time to do it, it's this one, because Cody will finish that story, especially now that it's scorching, like it's still scorching. Just keep it running through the summer and just boo it out of the building. It would be the greatest. I mean,
you need to lay off that prime drink that Ben's giving you, because you are bugging, bro.
Excited about. He's gonna catch Hogan.
Roman's
catching Hogan.
Roman's going to have to learn how to dodge snowballs. I know it's April, but Philly will find a way.
Yeah, okay.
And they'll have stones in them. They'll have stones in them.
We got a few
We've
comments
done batteries. We've done that too.
We got Crystal Claire with Bailey needs to main event WrestleMania 40 night 1. It's possible. I would love to see that myself. He also added Cody Rhodes is not losing back-to-back WrestleManias. I don't think he's losing. It's The Rock that will take the pin.
Dude, he lost. No. He would lose. It's the loss.
Triple threat. He didn't win, but he didn't lose. He doesn't get pinned.
They don't want that the lasting image of the first TKO WrestleMania to be a boo fest. If you just want to go by historicals, 20 and 30 both end it with somebody winning.
Heath Ledger said it best as the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn, and maybe that's me. It's neither here nor there. I'm just saying. Okay, guys, we got to go lightning round on our preview segments here, because we really dragged out the press conference.
Yeah, so you might want to skip
the whole show.
So you might want to skip this, because we're just not going to care. Go.
Let's talk about Orange Cassidy and Tomohiro Ishii Chaos preview. There's no chance in the world that Ishii wins the international title tonight, is there?
There's no chance in the world. Anyone's gonna watch it. Sorry.
Soul will watch it.
Oh yeah, Soul, and maybe David through 4. But sorry, Soul.
Shout out to both. They're great guys.
Orange Cassidy versus who is it?
Ishii, bro, the
Stone Pitbull.
Oh, that guy. The guy with your neck. I call him "Where's your neck?" That's what I call him.
The Necklace Wonder.
Necklace Wonder. Yeah, definitely.
Trademark that.
He bought a necklace and actually accidentally realized it was a belt.
All right. This match is for the title. Yeah, it should be fine. It should be cool. Orange Cassidy is gonna retain. It's gonna be fine for what it was. Why is he giving it to Ishii? Even like I was just as baffled as when he said it on Dynamite, and then Thingy said, "Oh, really? Okay, that's kind of weird. Am I missing something here? Like, what's going on? I mean, sure, it'd be a decent match, and Ishii can take probably 15,000 orange punches before he goes down, but yeah." Again, why does Orange Cassidy even have this title? Yeah. We've moved on from this Orange Cassidy era. I'm sorry. I'm tired of seeing him with this title. Even when he was in the first run, I'm tired of it. Move on. Get rid of it. Like, of him as the champion. I'm sorry. This is like just plodding along. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Orange Cassidy to win. Who cares? Moving on.
I like it. I do need to write that down though. Chaos is anti-backpack. I'll keep that for the future. I'm kidding. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. Though, let's talk about Pete Dunne, finally back. Not Butch, but Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, formerly British Strong Style. Stoked about it. We got DIY, do it yourself, as I like to call them. The Bob the Builder boys, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. They got a shot. The winner gets a shot at the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles at the Elimination Chamber. Anthony, who's the challengers? Who's doing it tonight?
I just love that this show has suddenly turned into like Cody and Jay at the press conference. Honestly, this is a match where they've kind of built up both teams, but overall, the tag division in WWE still doesn't matter. So, in the grand scheme of things, they could probably go either way. But at the end of the day, no one cares. And it's a shame. So, I'm going to go DIY just because I like Gargano. So, that's where I'm going with this. At the end of the day, I don't know if they're going to take the belts, but it'll happen.
I like it. Do it yourself, man. They don't call the guys, they fix it themselves. I think that's the
Worst
gimmick.
song in pro wrestling belongs to them.
It's bad.
No, it's not. It's not up there with Brie Bella, but it's close.
Oh, no, Bree's pretty bad.
No, current day. That,
All right,
they
current
got-
day. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Bree's
Brie Bella,
Bree's
oh,
all
God.
time bad. That one's awful. Let's talk.
Sorry.
DIY should come out to Regal's old music. Such a man. Real man's man.
Oh
That's
my
what
God.
it is.
Oh my!
That is
They gotta come out
DIY.
there
Is it
just
not?
Bob the Builder, man, and they'd start wearing hard hats. But do it yourself.
Regal did.
That's the whole thing. But let's talk
Are we in the
about
new generation? Sorry, go on.
let's talk about the SmackDown GM, Nick Aldis. He's gonna announce his next challenger for Logan Paul. And Shad, I gotta ask you, who is it? United States Championship.
All right, so I have a question to Nick Aldis. When you say next challenger, is it the next challenger for an episode of SmackDown, or is this the next challenger at the Elimination Chamber? Because that kind of changes the weight of who the next opponent could be. So I thought of a couple names that could be a next opponent for an episode of SmackDown. The first gentleman I'm gonna put out there is Mr. Cedric Alexander. I think they could have a fun TV match. It's a good way to bring him back into the fold on SmackDown. Both of them are super athletic. Cedric is a very technical wrestler as well, and I think he could have a good mesh and eat the L with a matchup on a SmackDown for Logan Paul as he continues to at least wrestle a little bit more. Another person would be Ashante the Adonis. I know that they did a little storyline with him a couple weeks ago where he's trying to find himself. Why not call your shot? Why not give him an opportunity to call out Logan Paul, try to make a name for himself, and become a potential United States champion? So if we're talking about on a weekly television match, I think them two guys would be it. I was also thinking about Dragon Lee as well. I think that could be really fun of a match, and Dragon Lee, someone that they view on a potential high spot in their division. But if we're talking about Elimination Chamber, man, it's difficult, bro. Because I'm trying to possibly say maybe him and Kevin Owens may run it back since KO got technically cheated, even though he cheated in the last match. But I don't know, man.
Cheating.
He was cheating, right? But I love Kevin Owens, man, and I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. But I'm done with their feud. If he's not gonna be the champion, I'm good on it. I really don't care about it that much. The whole shtick with Logan Paul and the other two guys, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, is corny, bro. Like it's not. It ain't really for me, man. Like they're all just kind of like uh someone like Logan Paul's like they act like his podcasting buddies that he's on the TV with all the time, like just a bunch of bros being all cocky and stuff. Like I'm not liking it. It isn't working for me. I would rather see KO do more captivating stuff on a SmackDown roster. So yeah, we'll see what Mr. Nick Aldis says.
We will see what Nick Aldis says for sure. Chaos's secretary, who's obviously a huge fan, is over in the comments and added, I predict Grayson Waller at Elimination Chamber. What a prediction there.
You know what?
Chaos. That's a nice call.
I think your secretary is onto something because
Yeah,
Grayson Waller, if I'm not mistaken, is from Australia.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah,
You're getting a pay raise. Nice little secretary. That's one.
Definitely. We've got Australians are on fire right now too. We got Volkanovski returning next weekend.
Oh,
makes sense. Can't wait. That's in Anaheim. I'm going, by the way. Just shout out. I'll be there at Honda Center. I can't wait. With that, it does bring us to the end of the show, guys. And this has been an absolute blast. Everyone that tuned in, this has been an awesome show. Time flies when you're having fun. I mean, I've you won't see me until Mailbag Monday. But tomorrow, if you don't have plans on Super Bowl Saturday, as I like to call it, because the game's not yet, noon Pacific, 3 in the East. That's 2 Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. That's 8 over in the UK. That's 9 a.m. in Hawaii as usual. It'll be the same on Sunday. Also, the Chiefs, go Chiefs, against the Niners. Can't wait. And I will talk to everybody early next week. Enjoy your Friday night, Friday evening, Friday afternoon, wherever you are. Have a good one. And thank you so much, everybody that's tuned in. Have an excellent Friday.